Picture this. A business client of ours was charged 80,000 Rand by SARS for not submitting a tax return for a few years. Yet another one, who's an individual, was also charged 25,000 Rand for non-submission of tax returns. There was no tax involved. It was just a penalty, which is called the admin penalty, which was charged because of not submitting tax returns. If you can relate or you found yourself in this situation, this video is for you. I've made this video so that I can be able to just explain the dates that you are supposed to keep in mind if you are going to stay out of trouble in terms of getting these admin penalties that almost everyone is getting around us. Stay tuned. I've got two giveaways. The first one, I've compiled a PDF document with the very same dates that I'm going to discuss in this video that you can use and keep so that you can keep reminding yourself on the dates when you are supposed to file. And number two, I've just looked at the frequently asked questions and I've just done a lot of answers for those questions that a lot of people have been asking with regards to this topic that we are discussing today. So I'm going to start with the ones that are more common, that affects a lot of people, to the ones that are less common, that are mostly applicable to companies. The first one on that list is the individual tax return. When do you submit your individual tax return? The tax season normally opens at the beginning of July through to mid-October. So in other words, in most cases, it will be the 1st of July or through to maybe something around 20 or 21 October, depending on the dates that have been set by SARS. So you need to be always checking with SARS to see when is the tax season going to open in the year that is applicable to you. For individuals who are provisional taxpayers as well as trusts, they've got the same dates. The filing season starts right at the beginning of July, just like normal individuals, but it gets extended into January, like for example, mid-January, around maybe 19 or 20, 21 January, depending on the dates that are set by SARS. Now, having talked about individuals, let's move on now to companies. We are going to start first with provisional tax returns as well as income tax returns, because these are the ones that are compulsory to anyone who is running a business in South Africa. Provisional tax returns for companies, the first one is required 6 months into the financial year. So for companies that has got a 28 February financial year, I'm going to use them as an example. The 6 months into the financial year will be falling on the 31st of August in that particular year. In terms of the second provisional tax return, which is also compulsory, it is required by year end. Company income tax return, when is it required? Well, the company income tax return is required 12 months after financial year end. So if your financial year end was 28 February 2025, within 12 months, you should have submitted your income tax return. Once you reach 28 February 2026 without submitting your tax returns, then penalties can start from there because you are already late. Let's now move on to VAT. So with regards to VAT, we've got different VAT vendors. We've got those ones who file monthly. We've got those ones who file bi-monthly. We also have those ones who file bi-annual. It doesn't matter what kind of a VAT vendor it is. We refer to the period that you are filing as the VAT period. So now to explain this is when you are filing your VAT return, which is the VAT 201, it is required by the 25th of the following month following the VAT period. So in other words, if you are filing for June 2025, the return is required by the 25th of July in 2025. In addition to this, the other thing that you need to know is if the 25th of the following month falls on a weekend, then what it means is you are going to file on the last business day before the 25th. Last on my list is the pay-as-you-earn. Pay-as-you-earn is made up of two categories of returns, which is the EMP 201 as well as the EMP 501. When is the EMP 201 required? Well, EMP 201 is supposed to be filed every month, but it is due by the 7th of the following month. So if you are filing for January 2026, it means your EMP 201 for January needs to be in by the 7th of February 2026. And the same rule that we are applying for VAT also applies with this regard. If the 7th falls on a weekend, it means your return should have been submitted by the last business day before the 7th. Now let's move on to the EMP 501. When should you submit your EMP 501? There are two EMP 501s that are required per year. The first one, you submit it 6 months into the financial year. So if your financial year is 28 February, your first EMP 501 reconciliation should be done by the 31st of August in that year. The second one should be done by year end. So EMP 501 is the reconciliation of the EMP 201s that you have been doing monthly throughout the year. We are coming towards the end of the video. If you have made it this far, thank you very much for watching. As I promised you at the beginning of the video, I've got to explain a little bit more with regards to admin penalties to those people who have got some questions. I was looking around to see what are the frequently asked questions on this topic. What I've just discovered is that some people would like to know what happens to you if you are not owing any tax. In order for me to break this down, I'm going to break it down into two scenarios. The first one is for someone who is working for an employer. The employer deducts tax from their salary, pays it over to SARS. Will they be liable to file a tax return? Should they not submit a tax return, are they going to receive admin penalties from SARS? Another scenario is a company maybe that is dormant or that did not make any money during the financial year. When the company did not make money, will I be liable to file tax returns? And if so, if I don't do so, am I going to get charged with these admin penalties? So in response to all those questions that has been raised, if you are a taxpayer in South Africa, the commissioner expects you to submit and file tax returns as a way of reporting to them whether you've made money or you've not made money. So all those taxpayers, whether it's a corporate or it's an individual who is not having any tax to pay, whether it's a dormant company or it's a person who has been paying pay as you earn, you are also still expected to file the tax return in time and also in the prescribed manner as per the tax law. So once you fail to do that, that's non-compliance, which might lead you to accumulate these administrative penalties. Another also response to it is that these admin penalties are going to be charged every month from the time when you start to become non-compliant all the way until compliance has been reached. So if you take years to submit the tax returns that are required, SARS will keep on charging you admin penalties and they keep on piling. As a result, you might end up reaching those numbers that I was saying at the beginning of the video. Another response to the second question, which was about the reversal of these tax admin penalties. Yes, SARS sometimes can reverse these admin penalties, provided the taxpayer is now compliant and also there is a very good valid reason why the taxpayer was not submitting tax returns. So a request can be put, which is called a request for remission. It will be up to the commissioner to evaluate and see if they can reverse either all of them or partially all the admin penalties that would have been charged in the first place. Thanks very much for watching. I'm so excited. I was so excited to have done this video to help someone out there who might end up paying money that they should not have paid. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye for now.